Hello everybody, it's Stefan Joubert here from the Stefan Joubert Guitar Academy, and in today's video I'm going to speak to you about how to get started with jazz guitar. A lot of my students come from a rock and roll background and they play blues and rock, and they would like to move into the realms of playing jazz guitar. Now the journey to go from playing rock and blues guitar to also adding, let's say, some jazz, whether that's swing or bebop guitar, into your own playing is a road that requires a little bit of effort, and it requires some thought process behind it in order to get that path smooth, or to get a smooth transition from rock and roll and blues over to jazz playing. Of course, I never encourage any of my students to leave any former styles behind, but rather just to add and expand their current way of performing and playing. So in this video, I'd just like to talk a little bit about the actual path to take. So what I would recommend firstly is that at the very beginning stages of getting into jazz, the very first thing you can do is to listen to a lot of jazz. In the beginning, you could listen to jazz guitarists predominantly, but later you can listen to saxophonists, you can listen to pianists, you can listen to people playing trumpet, trombone, all sorts, the vibraphone, all sorts. So I would recommend listening to a vast range of styles of jazz and a vast range of instrumentation, including some great drummers or double bass players. So it's not just only listening to the guitar. You need to have a big range of music that you listen to. But from the guitar point of view, after you've started to listen to some jazz, the next thing to do is to use the 12-bar blues as a bridge. So what I would recommend for you to do is, instead of just, let's say, you've got an A dominant 7th chord and you're just doing the standard, blues rock licks, instead of just doing that, you need to start adding the dominant 7th arpeggio into your playing. So the first thing you need to do is to become acutely aware of harmony. So you've got the chord there, A dominant 7th. You've got to ask yourself, where's the root note? So it's the 5th string open. Then I've got the 5th on the 4th string 2nd fret. The open G is the minor 7th. And to become aware that from the open A to the G is a distance of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 semitones. And it's not a bad idea to physically play the semitones in between to understand that it's a big leap from a root to a minor 7th. And then the major 3rd, which would be there, the 5th. So to play it on one string and to get the idea of where the harmony lies, both in the chordal sense as well as with the arpeggio. So then I'll go to position 1, so we've got 1, 4 and 6 over here, and then you can practice the arpeggio. And then when you play a blues solo, instead of just playing, let's say, just playing sort of, instead of just playing licks, then you can also add in you can start adding some arpeggios into the mix as well, basically starting to outline that dominant 7th chord or the dominant 9th voicing. So the band's playing that, let's say, in bars 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you're going, and then when it goes to the 4th chord or the D7, then playing the D dominant 7th arpeggio, and understanding, the degrees as well, to know, okay, major 3rd, minor 7th, root, minor 7th, 5th, major 3rd. So you can do and to understand how that particular chord is fitting in. So even when you play a chord shape, you can get to play the chord and the arpeggio in one mix. That's the D7 realm, back to the A7 realm, and then it goes to the E dominant 7th on the turnaround, that's in bar 9. Back to the D7, back to the A7, back to the E7. So what I'm trying to say is you need to become acutely aware of the underlying harmony if you want to get into jazz playing. So when you do your 12 bar blues and you've got your A dominant 7th chord, you've got to know that you've got the arpeggio there, that's A7, you've got to understand that's a major 3rd, you've got to know that's a 6th. And then when it goes to the D7, you know what you're doing over there in terms of the outlining of the arpeggio. And then when it goes back to A7, again you know, okay, major 3rd, root flat 7th, 5th, maybe a 6th. And then let's say you go to the E7, you know that that's the root over there, major 3rd over there, 5th there, 6th. Going to the D7, outlining that. And then of course you can add an arpeggio and a lick in there as well. So at a higher level you can combine your licks as well as your arpeggios. So what I'm trying to say is to get into jazz, use the blues as the middle ground, get to know the 12 bar blues inside out, understand the arpeggios, know what they are against the underlying chord changes. When you play over it, sometimes start on 3rd. So you say to yourself, I'm playing the 12 bar blues, I'm starting on the major 3rd each time, meaning you would do bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Bar 5, that's the change in harmony to D, hitting the 3rd of D. Bar 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, that's the major 3rd, back to the A. 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, to 9, which is the E7 on the 3rd. 9, 2, 3, 4, D7, 2, a 3, a 4, a. Going back to the 3rd on the A, the 3rd on the E. So outline the chords starting on the 3rd, then outline the chords starting on the 5th, outline it starting on the root, outline it starting on the minor 7th. Basically become a specialist in the blues, inside out, all directions, anywhere, any point of time. Then once you've done that, the next step to getting to play jazz, in addition to listening to jazz, is basically to play chords, to know your chords and arpeggios across the neck in various string groups. I'll use E as an example and use E major 7th. So you've got to be able to play that E major 7th across the entire neck in various different string settings and string groups. And that will then give you the ability to be able to smoothly start. You're playing interesting things across the neck. And you know, if you know all of that, that will help you then to play in comping as well as in lead playing. But you got to know on strings 1, 2, 3, 4, E major 7th, 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 and back. Let's say string group 2, 3, 4, 6. That's 2, 3, 4, 6. E major 7th, 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 and E major 7th. Yes, it's a lot of information. This is not for a day. This is something you got to do over time. This is just to show you the journey into jazz playing. And once you know that, then you work with the string group system. So strings 2, 4, and then you can say, okay, I'm playing in position 2. Let's play the major 7th. You've noted I started on the root over there. I didn't necessarily start there. That's the point. You've got to start everywhere. And from any point, you've got to be able to, you know, find your way around and make things work. So a big chord over here, which is fifth and fifth here, nice. That chord over there is the same as the chord over here, just more stretchy. And then you could go to the next position, string group 2 and 5, and play the arpeggio there. Play the chords inside the mix there. And you can get to know your scales inside of that as well. Go to the position 4, string group 3-5, play the arpeggio. Play every single version of that arpeggio, play the scale as well. Get to know your chord changes inside of that. Because all of that will become your toolbox. And then you go to position 5, 1, 3, 6, play the arpeggio. And get to know again one more time, a major 7th, a root, a 3rd, a 5th, major 7th, root, root 9th, major 3rd, major 3rd there, major 3rd there, 4th there, 5th, 6th, 7th, root. And then you can know the scale in that area as well. And then you can go to position 1, 1, 4, 6 with the root notes, play the arpeggio. Do a variation on that. So basically, what I'm trying to show you there, and I know I went through quite a few things there, and of course when you practice it, you could do it much more, I'm just playing around with it, but you could do it more in a military fashion. I would say when you practice it, the way I would recommend is you do, okay, I'm playing string group 2, 3, 4, 6. This is the chord. I'm going through all the chords. And then I'm going to say it and play it. Root, major 3rd, 5th, major 7th, root. Very slowly. 3rd, 5th, major 7th, root, major 3rd, root, major 7th, 5th, 3rd, root, major 7th, 5th, 3rd, root, and the chord. Second position, string group 2, 4, major 3rd, 5th, major 7th, root, 3rd, 5th, major 7th, root, 3rd, root, major 7th, 5th, 3rd, root, major 7th, 5th, and 3rd. In that sort of way, that's how you've got to practice it. Both directions, high, low, high, low, high, low, inside out, string skipping, all sorts of different methodologies of practicing it. Once you've done the major 7th, then you would go to something like a minor 7th with a flat 5. So let's say you do E minor 7 flat 5, and I won't go through all of them. Just use the string group 1, 4, 6. Quite a different sound than the major 7 flat, minor 7 flat 5. String group 1, 3, 6. There's some of the chords there. Interesting chord, this one. Beautiful. Always, if you practice these chords, I'm always so surprised at the nice type of sounds one can get with these chords. One, 3, 6. String group 3, 5. Etc., etc., etc. Basically, to make it simple, what you do is you practice your major 7th, minor 7th, dominant 7th, minor 7 flat 5, minor major 7th, major 6 and minor 6. And by the way, something for you to remember. A major 6th is the same as a minor 7th from a different angle. We won't go into details on that. That's for another video. And a minor 6th is the same as a minor 7 flat 5, exactly the same voicing. Once you've got those basic 7th chords under the fingers across the entire fretboard, you've got a lot of knowledge for your jazz guitar playing. Next step, and always keep listening to music during this time, would be to work on the 2-5-1 progression. What I would do first with the 2-5-1 progression is learn the chords as well as the arpeggios in different string groups. Well, arpeggios across the whole, all of the strings, but the chords I would do in strings 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would have a D minor 7th, a G dominant 7th, and a C major 7th. Then D minor 7th, G dominant 7th, C major 7th, D minor 7th, G dominant 7th, C major 7th, etc., etc., etc. And then I would do string group 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 6. D minor 7th, minor 3rd in the bass, G 7th, flat 7th in the bass, C major 7th, 5ths in the bass. Go up to the next one. 5th in the bass for the D minor 7th, root in the bass for the G 7th, major 7th in the bass for the C major 7th, flat 7th in the bass for the D minor 7th, 3rd in the bass for the G dominant 7th, flat 7th in the bass for the G for the C major 7th, root in the bass for the D minor 7th, 5th in the bass for the G 7th, and root in the bass for the C major 7th. Once I've done that, I would start laying the arpeggios together. So D minor 7th, string group 1, 4, 6, position 1, lodged to the 2 chord of the 2-5-1 progression. 2-5-1 would be D minor 7th, G 7th, and C major 7th. Then I would do D minor 7th, G dominant 7th, C major 7th. Then I would do, okay, let's swing it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, D minor 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, G dominant 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, C major 7th, I'm going to take 2 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, D minor 7th, same area, 1, 2, 3, 4, G dominant 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, C major 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, do another round, D minor 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, G 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, C major 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get to know those 2-5-1 progressions, and you start working with that. And what you can do then is to play along with, let's say, an application called the iReal Pro. Okay, we were speaking about the iReal Pro application. The iReal Pro application, and I've got a link below in the description, is an application where you can practice along with a backing track. So yeah, I would put it at around 55 and just loop a 2-5-1. We do it in position 1. 3, 4. a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then the next step would be to practice some licks. So then you would, and of course this is what I'm showing you here is just an overview. There's a lot of stuff you've got to get right before you can actually do anything with all of this. But then you can practice some licks on that, like this one. 1, 2, 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3. That's a 2-5-1 lick. Very slowly. Let's take a look at that again. D minor 7, G dominant 7, sharp 9, starting on sharp 9, ending on the 9th of the C major 7th. Another lick. And then you can just play some scales over it. That's just the major scale. Back to the arpeggio. You can do all sorts of things, but what is important is the fact that you practice in a systematic way. So when you work on your chords, you've got string groups that you work, like string group 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 6, the internal ones 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you practice arpeggios, you work with, if we take the key of D minor, you will work with a 2, 4, 2, 5, 3, 5, 1, 3, 6, as well as a 1, 4, 6. So you practice with all the different segments of arpeggios. So you know them across the neck, you know them everywhere. These are all now, what I'm playing is the D minor 7th arpeggios. And once you know that, then you can use them to play jazz with. And of course, from that point on, once you've done all these tools and everything, then you've got to apply that to jazz standards. So I know today there was quite a lot that I went through, but it's just a little journey of how to get into jazz guitar playing. If you want to take your playing forward, you're feeling a bit lost with it, and you feel that you need a mentor, remember you can always reach out to me. Go onto my website at SJ Guitar Academy. Contact me. Let's organize a first assessment lesson. We will just meet online, and I can speak to you, and we can take a look at what you're doing, where you're at, and we can create a plan for you to go from point A to point B to point C to point D, etc. And remember, success comes when you do the same thing day in, day out, every single day, without fail. Sometimes it will feel like you're walking through a desert. Sometimes it will feel like it makes no sense. You just keep going. Of course, if you feel there's no sense and you don't have structure, get some training. But if you have the training, you've got a plan, you're intentional about your guitar playing, all you got to do is keep going, keep going, keep going, and success will come to you. I'll speak to you again in the next video, and thank you for listening.